The evolution of artificial intelligence in the warehouse is the topic of my conversation today with Gina Chung. She is Vice President of Corporate Development with Locus Robotics. Hi, Gina.
Hi, Bob. How are you doing?
Great. Thank you so much for being with me today. What do you see as the evolving application of AI or artificial intelligence? How is it transforming traditional warehouse operations, driving value in the warehouse? What's going on?
Yes, I think the world that we live in is AI-powered intelligent assets in the warehouse, but there's actually so many more areas where AI is driving value for warehouse operators. Take, for example, AI models that can help improve network optimization, warehouse optimization, nothing to do with physical assets, but purely these models can improve the efficiency and performance of your supply chain operations. You then have this other bucket, which is all the AI-powered physical assets in the warehouse, whether it's autonomous forklifts, autonomous mobile robots, even humanoid robots, as well as then all the analytics and reporting that is now becoming much smarter and much more digestible through things like generative AI and ChatGPT.
Seems to be moving so fast. I mean,
Absolutely.
Just the term AI means something so different than it used to be in years past. So these things you're just telling me about, it sounds like a pretty recent development that has been applied across such a wide spectrum of operations. Is that true?
I would say those different buckets are moving at different speeds. So, I've been evaluating and deploying AI technologies for over 10 years, and the algorithms and the AI models, that's been in place for many years. It's now becoming more widespread, and that AI itself is becoming more advanced. But that, I find, has already been established in many supply chains around the world. But then you look at, AI-powered physical assets, be it robots or, computer vision systems, that's still in its earlier stages of adoption. So adoption's moving at different speeds, but I always like to emphasize that AI is so much broader than just one thing or one robot application. It's a number of different kind of tools in the warehouse.
But has generative AI been a real step change? Have you seen that as being a real radical difference in the application of AI in the warehouse?
In robotics, I think it's in still very early stages, just because it's, I think an AI for robotics is more about how can you make the robot smarter with navigation and whatnot. Generative, it's in early stages of figuring out what that actually means for operators like us. But I think, time will tell exactly how it feeds into the world of, robotics and AI in the warehouse. I do think that it's already very interesting, and I've seen some early proof of concepts of using generative AI to produce actionable insights out of the analytics and reporting that comes out.
Well, you paint a very exciting picture, Gina, but I'm wondering what are some of the challenges and considerations in actually applying this technology in the warehouse?
Yeah, so I always like to say that the worst day for AI is the first day, because it needs a lot of data, it needs a lot of time for the models to get more and more accurate. So those are some of the key considerations when you're deploying, for example, an AI-powered robotic system or computer vision system. The AI is not going to be familiar with your SKUs or your warehouse environment, so it takes time for that AI to become more intelligent. So I would say, that initial patience that you need to make sure that the system gets deployed, it's learning before it reaches the level that you want, I think that's critical. And then from a safety perspective, if you're deploying AI-powered robotics in your warehouse, you better make sure that it's robust. You know exactly what it's doing. You've implemented change management processes so workers know how to interact with AI-powered robots. It's less critical if the robot's, a small kind of payload robot, but when you're talking about autonomous forklifts and AI-powered assets that are moving heavy items, you just want to make sure that it's been tested, robust, under every scenario before it's put into an environment with people.
Yeah, you say it takes time to learn, of course. Is it possible to generalize how long in a typical warehouse?
Depends on the application. I think robotics, where we are at the moment, it can be plugged away pretty quickly. It's robust, it's proven. Other areas where it's more kind of in early stages of adoption, if, for example, you're putting a computer system, stationary system in your warehouse that's powered by AI to detect SKUs or detect damages, that might take a couple of months, weeks and months to build up the model and make sure that it's hitting the performance that you want.
You alluded to change management, which is an essential aspect in bringing technology into an operation. How are we dealing with that today? Do you think that the warehouses are doing a good job of getting people to accept this technology, or are there still challenges and issues going forward?
I think when it comes to change management, it's a joint responsibility between the vendor and the customer. So it's not, hey, here's my solution, you go off and implement it. It needs to be a joint approach between the vendor, customer, to say, hey, this solution works this way. It's not going to be following a set path. It might have some aspects of safety that you need to consider, and make sure that you have a training program in place and a culture behind it to make sure that the system and the people that are working around the system are working in harmony. So that's a key consideration for deploying these systems.
So how does AI address these challenges in the warehouse more effectively than traditional automation type solutions?
That's a great question. I think, if I rewind 10 years ago, what did we see inside warehouses? We saw, AGVs following very fixed paths around the warehouse. You needed a lot of infrastructure to support, smart assets in a warehouse environment. Now AI, it's perfectly geared to solve, to be in environments where it's constantly changing. So, layouts are now constantly changing in warehouses. You have racking here, you're taking it out, you're constantly shifting. And AI-powered assets, for example, robotics, we're able to navigate these constantly changing environments. We're able to remap, relocalize, we're able to navigate around pallets that have been strewn across an aisle 1 hour to the next. So AI has been a real enabler for flexible movement of automation in the warehouse.
But it's getting smarter, and as you say, it's being applied to more and more things within a warehouse. What is the end game there? Do you see a future of no people at all in a warehouse?
Well, I'm going to say this, there are warehouses where we're so close to no people, but that is the exception and not the norm.
Yeah.
Globally, there's hundreds of thousands of different warehouses in different size, scales, SKUs that are handled, volumes, and there really isn't going to be one solution that's going to automate the entire warehouse. So I think you'll have those big box warehouses, they'll have the capital to invest in having more automation, more kind of lights out environments. But for a lot of warehouses, it's still about how can we use automation to augment our existing workforce, scale up our operations, but I think people will be still a key part of the process.
Gina, I really appreciate you bringing us up to date on the application of AI and automation in warehouses today. Thank you very much for that. Can I take a moment to ask you specifically, though, about Locus Robotics? How do you folks fit into this picture?
Yeah, so we like to say without AI, there is no Locus. So our robots are fundamentally powered by a powerful AI autonomy stack. So our robots are intelligent agents. They're able to perceive the environment around them. They take decisions on their own. So we'll give our robots the task, hey, you should go to this pick point in the warehouse. If there's an obstacle, if there's some sort of other hazard in the way, it'll reroute itself and take decisions. Maybe it'll skip to the next pick. So we have developed these intelligent agents, over 13,000 in operations today, that enables us to navigate these warehouse environments that are constantly shifting with ease. So that's one of our biggest applications of AI is in our robots, robots themselves. And then now we're moving, you might have just seen a press release this week where we're investing heavily into our business intelligence platform called Locus Hub, where we're now taking all of that powerful data that we're getting from our 13,000 robots, operational data, and harnessing that to deliver actionable insights I mentioned earlier to our customers, so that they can easily manage their operations, robots, people, as well as other customer requirements.
Again, Gina, thank you so much for your insights into AI in the warehouse, as well as telling us a little bit about Locus Robotics as well. Thanks very much for being with me today.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks for having me.
I have been speaking with Gina Chung of Locus Robotics. Thank you very much for watching.